Hello, everybody. So, I am. I was hoping. I was hoping to test out some new software today, but I couldn't get it connected. So I'm using StreamYard again. I did up level my game so that supposedly this is streaming to three different places: my Facebook group and the profile page and my business page. So anyway, if you're here live, thank you for joining me live. And I think StreamYard requires you to give permission in order for me to see the comments or to at least see your name. So if you want to do that, that would be great. Let me, I'm just going to open it up so I can see the comments. Okay, super happy to have everybody with me today. Let's talk about social media, okay? In today's, I'm calling it a master class. Hopefully, it's only going to go 20 minutes. I mean, my training, I like to cut to the chase. Let's figure out what we need to do and move forward, right? So, what I wanted to talk about today, and I'm calling it my 3-step framework to build your online presence. This is not about what you do kind of behind the scenes. It's more about how can you build a consistent routine, aka a system, because that's what I'm all about, right? How can you build a system so that you can be present? Uh, all of us, all of us are struggling, right? There is just so much stuff to do in your online business. And, show me some love, give me a little hearts, or say, yep, that's you. Just too many balls juggling in the air. And quite honestly, I know for myself, it's easy to let um, things kind of drift off, right? And posting, being consistent in posting in our social media is probably the easiest thing to let go because we think, well, I'll get to that later. But if we're trying to grow our business, it's all about being seen, being visible, letting people know what our genius zone is and how we can help people. And if you're trying to grow your business, get more leads, get more clients, especially organically, you need to get out there, right? So, so let me know. Yes. I'm looking for an easy way to get out there. So again, as I mentioned, I'm not going to dig into, building your 4 pillars of content. I actually have a little mini course about that. And there's lots of little mini courses out there to figure out what you should post and how to do it and all that kind of stuff. Today's little mini training is how can you be consistent and what framework can you put into place to help you be consistent. And before I jump into that, if I look to the side, I'm just looking at my notes here. As I mentioned, the struggle is real, right? So let me know in the comments if you are watching live, if you struggle with trying to do it all and trying to figure out the best mechanism. Where should you be spending your time? Just a few little places, of course, that you can devote some time to is make sure that you complete your profiles. So on your, that information about you, take advantage of that real estate. And I'm going to do another full training on all of the different ways you can optimize that. But make sure that you have that set up, because when you're engaging with people, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to click on your page, they're going to click on your profile, they're going to want to find out about you. So that's an easy way of how you can start building your online presence, because that's like your built-in elevator speech area, right? So take advantage of that. So let me know in the comments. And again, if you're using StreamYard, you just have to give StreamYard permission for me to see your comments. Okay. So your profile, make sure that that's optimized. anything that you publish out in the world, make sure that you're putting your contact information. Um, a while ago, and I'm just going to share this. A while ago, I had downloaded somebody's freebie. We all do that, right? We have a collection, and I was looking for one, and I opened it up. Nowhere on this freebie did it have the person's business name, their logo, their website, nothing. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I mean, they're missing a golden opportunity here. So anything that you create, make sure at least that you have your logo on it and a link, preferably to like a website or something, because you never know, especially out in the internet, stuff is floating around forever. So you want people to be able to contact you in the future and to come back to you. So that's a second area. And use any recommendations. So if you're on LinkedIn, use their recommendations. Make sure that you fill out all the information there. If you send email, which you should be, right? Take advantage of the signature line. Word of caution on the signature line, you don't want to pad it up with so much stuff that people get confused, but at least have one kind of mini call to action on your signature line. If you're trying to grow your group, just something like click here to join this Facebook group to get more juicy tech tips every day, something like that, right? Another way, of course, is make sure that you're engaging, not the hit and run type of posts of, oh, here, who wants to earn $1 million in the next 10 minutes, but learn to be engaging with people. Again, the more you're out there, the more you're a real person helping people, that's going to build your online presence. Can you do a blog? Can you be a guest on other people? Okay, so all of these are the different steps that, and we hear them over and over again. But what I want to talk about today, the real meat of this little training class, is how do we stay consistent? How can we do all of this stuff? Because we don't want to be spending 8 hours a day just posting, just throwing stuff out there and not knowing if we're even going to get a return. So the secret, I love this quote here. The secret of our future is hidden in our daily routines. So let me say that again. The secret of our future is hidden in our daily routines. So what are we doing daily? If we want to build our online presence, what are we doing daily and how can we stay consistent in this? All right. So there's three main areas, and that's why I call it my 3-step framework to basically learn to be consistent. And I have to admit, I'm first in line. We have to keep working at this. So the first area, the first framework is be realistic. Now, that might not even seem like a framework. So what do I mean by that? We can't do everything. Usually, we learn something, we run off, we want to implement it. Then we try to implement this. Then we try to implement that. And then before you know it, we're running in circles. Has that ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments if you learn all this stuff and then you run off and try to implement it. And then the stuff you learned last week, you're not implementing that. And then before you know it, you have all of these kind of half-finished things. So let me know if that's you, if that's happened to you. So we have to be realistic, one, as far as what we can do, what we want to do. We really need to create a plan. So, there's YouTube, there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's Reels, there's Facebook groups, there's, we're trying to grow our own group, all of this stuff. So sit down and make a list and then be realistic and pick one or two things, focus on those, until it becomes a habit, aka a system, right? So let me give you an example about myself. Years ago, in the internet world, everything changes within just a few months, right? Yeah, somebody, I can't see your name, but somebody said that is you. Yes, we get so caught up, and then we're going to try this, we're going to try that, nothing gets done. So I made a goal that I wanted to start going live every week in my Facebook group. Okay. I just focused on that. And so I started doing it. Every week I started going live. Then I wanted to up my game just a little bit. I've talked about this before. I don't like to waste things. So if I'm going to do something, I want to get as much mileage out of that activity. So then I decided, you know what? I'm making videos anyway, so I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And my purpose really wasn't to grow my YouTube channel per se, but I just thought I don't want to waste this asset. If I create a video, if I put some time and energy, then I'm going to create that. Then I took it a step further and I decided I'm going to share that on my LinkedIn channel. Okay. Do you see what's happening here? One, I'm taking one piece of content and I'm recycling it. But I also identified what is realistic for me. What can I stick with? So my first goal was I want to do weekly videos, and I'm going to do it in my Facebook group. And then around that, I started building a system of what do I want to do with those videos? Do I want to create some new channels? And there's actually been some other channels that I've added there. All right. So the next thing on my list is learning to be consistent in other people's groups. But again, we hear about a group, we jump in, we're all excited for a week, and then we forget all about that group. So what I've decided for this year, especially, is I'm going to focus on 5 groups. And the purpose of me being in those groups, twofold. One, I want to contribute. So I'm in those groups where I think people can benefit from my expertise, from my genius zone. And that's all about funnels and automations and systems and things like that. And then, quite honestly, the second reason is to generate some leads, to find the people that can benefit from the services that I offer. But again, if I jump from just one group to another, nothing gets done, really. So I decided, okay, I'm going to pick 5 groups and I'm only going to focus on those 5. So now going back to that first framework, learning to be consistent, we have to be realistic. Create a little plan and then be realistic. And quite honestly, there's only 2 or 3 things that we can really focus on at a time. Once we get really good at that, then we can expand it and go to something else. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if it is making sense. All right. Okay. The second framework is to manage our environment. And I think this is the biggest area that throws people off. So, what do I mean by that? You sit down at your computer, you are flooded with it's basically having 100 kids fighting, 100 children, your children fighting for your attention, right? You've got your email notifications popping up, you've got all of your Facebook prompts. When there's a new little reel or a new little TikTok, and oh, that's right, you realize you need to get back with a client. You have all of this stuff that's just bombarding you. And then what happens? Well, I'm just going to answer this one thing real quick. Oh, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And before you know it, guess what? Your task of doing your social media posting and creating all of this stuff has gone by the wayside. And then all of a sudden you look up and, oh, it's time to go get the kids, or it's time to fix food for your family, something like that. And then it doesn't get done. And so another day goes by. And once again, you haven't been consistent. right? Can anybody speak to that? And, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, I mean, depressing, should we say that? Because we have these good intentions, but then when we don't follow through, it's like, oh man, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do this? The second framework that we're focusing on is we have to manage our environment. So, what can we do to manage our environment? Turn off your notifications, close your email. If you have post-it notes all over your desk or anything else, can you throw them in a folder? I want you to have focused attention and set a goal. Tell yourself, okay, and this is especially, I do this, you know, when I'm doing some dreaded job at home or something. I say, okay, Deb, you can at least do this for 15 minutes. And if you need to set a timer, because heavens forbid if you do it longer than 15 minutes, right? So by managing your environment, you're turning off all the notifications, you're streamlining your work desk, all that kind of stuff, so that you can be extremely focused on the job you have at hand. Yes, somebody just made the comment, am I inside your head? Maybe. I'm more inside my head, but guess what? We're all alike because we're entrepreneurs, we're creative. You know, we just have so much stuff to do. Most of us are a one person company. So we have to learn to manage our environment. Years and years ago, I worked at a large, very large healthcare organization, a hospital, and I was in the CEO's office. And I learned a lot. I was his admin, just watching how he conducted his business. So for us, do we have we developed that CEO mindset? So if he was getting ready for a presentation or if he was meeting with someone or whatever it was, he was very focused. That's the task he was doing. And he did that task and then he went to the next one. All right. Then one last thing I want to mention about managing our environment is figure out, well, two things actually. One, I said set some goals. So tell yourself, and especially if you're just trying to get into this, set some mini goals. Say, okay, 15 minutes every day, I'm going to be doing my social media, posting and things like that. So that's a mini goal. And then you might want to say, you might want to decide how often. Are you going to do it 5 days a week, 6 days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? And write it down, because if you write it down, you have a greater chance of actually accomplishing that. All right. So how long are you going to do it every day? And what's your schedule basically for the week? And take it a step further. What time of the day? If it's different times each day, that's okay. But again, write it down. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you have to take the kids to school. So 9:30 is a perfect time for you. All right. Tuesday and Thursday, maybe another. So you get where I'm going, but be very specific. And then the last little piece that I was going to say about managing our environment is figure out what derails you and then put up those safety bars, right? I don't know about you, but if I'm driving someplace and the road's kind of narrow, especially if it's like a cliff or something, that's pretty scary if there's no guardrails. And it's like, oh my goodness, I don't even want to look down there. Well, in our work environment, again, as the CEO of our business, we need to figure out what is it that could derail us. And especially if we're doing something that maybe we need to build up the momentum. Maybe it's not our favorite thing to do. And there's another whole training that I can do around that. But we need to figure out what is going to derail us and then set some safety gates, so to speak, so that we stay focused. A very extreme thing that I'd heard once, but I thought it was brilliant. A writer, he was easily derailed by social media. So he went as far as having his admin lock him out of his social media Monday through Friday. He could not even get into it. She had the password. She changed the password every week. Now, that is very, very extreme, right? But he knew if he was going to continue writing all of these books, he had to be super focused. So, in our business, what is going to derail us? And then what little safety gate can we put in place? And, maybe it's moving your phone. Even though you have the notifications turned off, put your phone in another room, for instance. Whatever it is, figure that out. All right. So that's the second framework to help us learn to be more consistent. And then the third framework is create that long range vision. Now, most women in the world have tried different dieting and exercise and all of that kind of stuff. And why do we fall off the wagon? Because we don't see immediate results, right? And then we start doubting ourselves. Is this even working? Do I honestly have to exercise for 60 minutes a day? Whatever it is. So when we're trying to build our online social presence, and again, I'm guilty of this. Sometimes, like when I first started doing my Facebook Lives, nobody was ever there live. And I thought, does it even really matter? But then I thought, you know what? I made a commitment to myself that this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to do it. And remember how I said, I recycled my content and I started growing a YouTube channel. I did not start it because I was trying to get a YouTube following. But I think the last time I looked, I think I have like 50 subscribers to my YouTube channel, which cracks me up because I am not doing anything except posting my videos there every week. But do you see the long-term consistency? And I don't know how many, I have a bunch of videos out there because I was devoted or dedicated to the long range vision of that one goal that I set, that I am going to go live every week. Look what happened after a period of a year. I have like oodles of videos, and I'm starting to build momentum in these different areas. So whatever it is that we decide that we're trying to do, we are going to fall off the wagon, so to speak, because we're human and because life happens, right? So when you're coming up with your social media plan of action, the third framework is I want you to, one, recognize that you are a human. Welcome to the human race. And we are going to fall off the wagon. Things are going to happen. So again, we want to acknowledge it and then put some pieces in place that's going to help us move forward. One, the determination that you are going to get back up. So if all of a sudden you wake up one day and you think, oh my goodness, I haven't posted for a week. It's okay. Just get back up. Each day is a new day, which is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Every single day we wake up and it's a new day. We get to start over again. Another tip is get an accountability buddy. If you're in my Facebook group, then we can even start a accountability thread of, okay, who's going to poke me to make sure that I've posted today, or at the end of the week that we've lived up to that. Because sometimes we're all motivated by different things, but sometimes having knowing that an external source is going to be checking on us is going to keep us consistent. Another thing is use something to help you track your progress. And I'm going to show you that in just a second here, a little tracker that I've come up with. Another idea, I guess. They call it don't break the chain. I don't know if you've heard this, but so let's say that your goal is you want to post uh, five five times a week. Get just a little calendar, a printout. It's really nice, and get a red marker. And every day that you do it, you check that day off or you put an X through it. And what happens is visually, you're reinforcing that goal. And if you fall off the wagon, the chain has been broken, right? And we don't like to see that. We like to see that consistency. And again, you fall off the wagon, don't worry, just pick up, start over again. And the visual of seeing that chain continue to get longer and longer is going to reinforce this new habit. And then before you know it, it has become a habit and it's become a system. The system is the refined habit, right? So just like what I do with the videos that I create, I have a well-oiled system now. Hardly takes me any time at all. I know exactly what to do when I get done with my videos. So as we create these systems or these habits, then they become systems. All right? How's that? So those are the three frameworks that's going to help us build this online presence. Now, let me show you this little goodie that I have for you. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to move this out of the way. And you should be able to see, let me just, in case there's any comments here. All right, so let me know in the comments if you can see this. This is just a simple little spreadsheet. It's a Google Sheet. Little side note, I don't know if any of you know this, but I teach. I'm only teaching online now at a university, but I've taught all the Microsoft products. I used to teach Excel and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of fun things you can do with spreadsheets that have nothing to do with numbers. So when I created this little spreadsheet, again, I'm thinking about myself. What will help me so that I can be consistent? And so I wanted to make something kind of pretty and something that would motivate me to use it. Now, let me explain to you how you can use it. So there's only, it goes down to line 33. And you'll notice it has category, type, and group. Now, if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see something called a legend. So I've pre-populated, but you can change these. If you come down here, you can put the words or the expressions that make sense to you. But what do I mean by categories? When I'm posting, I want to get more deliberate in what type of post that I'm putting. So in other words, I just don't want to throw something random out there. And so some of the types of posts, one is what's known as an engagement post. So you're engaging with other people. Maybe somebody else has a question, or they've posted something and you pop in that discussion. You've added to the engagement. All right. Another one is what we call a belief shift post, or we're shifting the belief about something. So I might create a post that talks about technology doesn't have to be complicated. So I'm shifting people's belief. So I'm going to write a post about that because most people think that tech is complicated. All right. So that would be a belief shift post. Another type of post, another category would be work with me. So maybe I'm going to post, hey, here's the latest thing that I'm offering. Okay. Raise hand post. That's where you would say, hey, I've got this new social media tracker. Who wants it? Who's interested? Another category would be showing proof that the system that you have to help people works, or sharing testimonials. All right. So those are just some categories. And the reason I wanted to track the categories is I'm not very good myself about working with me, about telling people how I help them. So I'm going to make a concerted effort of kind of sharing that with the world more. All right. So this, again, you can change any of these. You just change it down here, but look what happens. So if we come up here to the top of the spreadsheet, and so I'm going to be doing my social media posting. The first thing is I'll select the category. Okay, so what I'm going to post a work with me type of post. And then under the type, and again, the same thing, if we come down here to our types, you can add to this, you can change this, like right now I'm not doing TikTok or Reels or anything else. So I just put the stuff that I'm doing. But again, I'm going to do a work with me post. That's the category. And what am I going to do with it? I don't know. I'll just do a regular post. And then here with group, this could be either group or a page. Now, remember how I said I'm going to pick 5 groups that I'm going to be focusing on. If I wanted, I could come over here and just type those 5 groups, or, I've got a bookmark someplace else. But I'm going to say women working with women group. I'm just making up initials here. So that's where I'm going to post it. And what is today? Today's Friday. All right. So I would just do this every day. And so maybe I'm going to do another work with me, and it's going to also be a post. And this time it's going to be in my own Facebook group, Systems to Scale. Okay. So it's just a visual to help me stay on track. That's all this is doing. And it's also a visual so that at the end of the week, the end of the month, I can look back and say, well, no wonder I'm not getting any engagement because I haven't posted, for the last 2 weeks. All right. Does that make sense? Yeah. Somebody says, could you also put the link in the group in that tab? Yes, absolutely. So if every day, let's just let's put my group in here. I can type. Okay, so that's the link. I just typed it in. And so every day, maybe I could just list the 5 here, and then I could just copy. And then on Monday, I've got the 5 listed here again. And then all I need to do is, okay, I'm going to decide, okay, next Monday, what am I going to post? What category am I going to post? And is it going to be a post? Is it going to be a Facebook Live? So like on this one here, let me just change this to Facebook Live. Okay. So you can see. And again, there's no one system, but the idea is going back to those 3 pieces of the framework. What are we going to do to help us be more consistent? And so I put this together and I thought, let me just have a play with this. So again, this, let me just copy this. So if I wanted, I'm just going to say my 5 groups that I'm going to engage in, I could also just post those links down here. Okay, so then I've got them there. However you want to do it, because this will be yours, right? So again, I had done one of those raise your hand if anybody's interested. So if you have not gotten this tracker, make sure that you let me know in the comments, and you can just say social media tracker and I'll make sure that you have it. There's no opt-in for it. It's just yours to use. All right. So let me stop sharing here and bring this back. All right. So I hope that makes sense. So let's just do a super quick little recap. There's lots of stuff to do. But if we want to be known, so to speak, if we want people to understand who we are and how we can help them, we have to get out there. We have to build some kind of social media presence. And this 3-step framework is kind of behind the scenes to help you so that you can get consistent and so that you can create these patterns, these habits, and then refine them so they become great systems in your business. So, again, we started out by being realistic on what you can do, coming up with a plan, and then just sticking with that plan. And then we talked about managing your environment. You're the boss, you're the CEO. So manage your environment so that you can make this happen every day. And then that third piece of the framework is take the long road vision. Don't just look after a week and say, well, nobody ever showed up for my Facebook Live, so why should I do it? Decide this is what you're going to do. Just keep doing it. And again, remember that quote that I started out with. Let me end with that quote. The secret of your future is hidden in your daily routines. I just love that. So I hope this has been useful. Again, in the comments, let me know if you haven't gotten the tracker, and I'll share it with you. Feel free to share this. If you're in the group, you can't share the video inside the group, but hopefully, if my software worked, I've shared it also out on my page. So share it with other people so they can benefit, and let's all start building our social media presence. All right. Thanks so much for joining me live. If you're watching on replay, let me know that you've watched it on replay. And if you're catching this over on my YouTube channel, guess what? Hit that subscribe button, and then you'll get all of the goodies that I post up there. All right, that's it. Thanks again for joining me. We'll see you later.